Back it is 9:15. It is a weekend tradition for house hunters visiting open houses.
But do you know what you should really be looking for at your next open house? A lot of people forget to look for the most important things. Joining us live this morning with the checklist for you, Christopher Wasilensky from Keller Williams Realty. Thanks for being here this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Christopher, boy, realty, selling, buying, hot topic for the last 6 months to a year, if not more, based on what we're going through. So let's talk about this. If you're looking to sell, staging or buy, and decor can distract a lot of buyers. What should they really be looking at in that area?
Yeah, you're right. Actually, people tend to make their decision emotionally when they're buying a home 10 feet outside the house and first 10 feet inside the house.
Okay.
So it's really important to look kind of beyond the staging and to look at like the windows. What shape are the windows in? Also to look at the ceiling. Does it have a popcorn ceiling? Do you like popcorn ceilings?
Does anybody?
No, probably not anymore. They're a lot of work to remove, right?
Yeah.
And when you're outside the house, looking at like the roof, does it look brittle? Do you see like some broken shingles kind of on the edge of the home?
The
Things
gutters.
to kind of look out for.
Maybe the
Gutters,
not
definitely.
the sexy parts, because we get drawn into the house, and you said, staging can be a distraction, and maybe our eyes initially go to that because maybe they're trying to not make you look at the other part that isn't so sellable.
Right.
So what are some of the other red flags? You mentioned, the roof and some of the other things that people should watch out for that could be problems down the road.
I think looking at, the basement, kind of when you get to the basement, kind of take a good whiff. Does it smell like it's moist down there? Do they have, maybe they just need a dehumidifier running, maybe not. But those are kind of things to kind of let your nose tell you what's going on.
Because are you talking about mold and smelling mold or something else in the basement?
Yeah. Maybe just moisture.
Yeah, okay. So there's a leak somewhere.
Could potentially be a leak somewhere.
Right.
Most sellers fill out what's called a seller's disclosure. It's always good to have your realtor give you a copy of that for you to look through as well, because they talk about the age of the roof on there. Have they had water intrusion before? Did they take care of it? Those sort of things.
Well, let's talk about home improvements. And you can actually budget that into cost. How do you do that?
Yeah, I think if you're looking at home improvements, probably take a picture of let's say you want to improve the kitchen. Maybe take a picture of that, bring it to a contractor, and get an estimate of what's going to cost for you to remodel that kitchen. And then talk to your realtor about, okay, if I spend $30,000 to do this remodel, is it going to make sense? Is my home really going to be worth doing that improvement?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's a really important thing to factor in. Okay, so you talked about checking the roof, but check not only, up above, but around maybe the perimeter, the outside of the house, and also the neighborhood. Maybe you want to even talk to the neighbors.
Yeah, you might want to talk to the neighbors. I do actually recommend that my clients do talk to the neighbors when they are in the neighborhood there, just to get a feel for it, because you're going to be living next to them. So, you're kind of picking your neighbors as well. And I think it's also important to check and see how long is the commute to work. Are there coffee shops around? Do you like fitness? Is there like a trail close by? Things like that I think are important as well.
I will say too, when I was in a townhome, it was obvious that the neighborhood had a homeowners association. But even in our neighborhood we moved into, there's a homeowners association. And we didn't know much about it. That's important to ask about.
Absolutely, absolutely. If there is an association, you should get those association documents shortly after you accept the purchase agreement, and you definitely want to read through them, especially through rules and regulations inside of those documents, because that's going to tell you, do they allow cats? Do they allow dogs? Do you have to keep your grass a certain height? Is there like a color palette for the neighborhood that you can only paint your house a certain color? All those things are very, very important.
We have also the number of trees for ours in our association.
Wow.
Also, we tried to put in a particular type of fence that we dreamed of. When we got there, they said, no, it has to be this type of fence. So
Ouch.
Heads up to people with those two things, too.
Yeah, ouch.
A lot of people can be turned off by something. Let's say it's a weird color of carpeting, and maybe hyper-focus on that. Are there things that people maybe shouldn't worry too much about when they're going to look at a home?
Absolutely, as long as it fits into their budget. So, cosmetic things such as carpet, sometimes it's not super expensive to replace that and put the things in that you want. And you also have to be mindful of your budget because you're buying a house. You're probably putting a good chunk of money down and, you know, factoring in what are my monthly payments and can I afford to put in that new carpet,
And
let's say.
one more thing, plumbing. People probably don't think about that. You know, open up the faucets and flush the toilet and do those things because because we know those can be really expensive repairs.
And I actually always recommend that my clients have a sewer line inspection done because you are actually, in a single family home, you are actually responsible for the sewer line from inside the house all the way out to the street.
As I've learned, yes.
Yes, and if it needs to get replaced, that's going to cost you $8,000 to $12,000 or more.
Oh my gosh.
Depending on that.
Great, important tips. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're
A
very
lot of people learned
welcome.
a lot of stuff. Christopher Wasilensky from Keller Williams Realty. Thanks once again. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.